And we are up live, up and running. Thank you for joining us today, guys. I have Mark Wilson with me. We have Wayne McPherson also joining us today. So thank you for joining in. So you think you're ready to get started talking about wealth, Mark?
Let's do it. I'm always ready to talk about money.
You're always ready? Okay. All right. Well, let's get started. All right, guys, today we're going to be talking about wealth. We have Wayne McPherson from FIG Financial Group here to join us. So I'm just going to bring him on in the stream. Hi, Wayne. How's it going?
Everything's going good. Can you guys hear me this time?
We can hear
Yeah, we
you.
got you loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah, I had to switch to a different device because I don't know what was going on.
Okay. Well, we're here. We're up live. We're ready to talk about money, wealth. So I guess before we get started, why don't we introduce ourselves to everyone? If this is your first time joining me, my name is Andrea Wilson. I'm the broker and owner over at Brick House Realty. We're here in Cleveland, Ohio area. We help traditional buyers and sellers and real estate investors, and we like to do these live events to just kind of share information with the community. So I have Mark, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Mark Wilson, extraordinaire. Andrea is my wife. I'm the better half, though. Anything real estate, anything wealth, anything money, I'm always down talking. So let's talk.
Okay. All right. And then we have a guest here today. Wayne, please introduce yourself.
Wayne McPherson. I am the co-owner and chief marketing officer for Financial Investment Group, also known as FIG. And I thank you guys for having me on today.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, so I guess we'll just kind of dive right into it. We actually kind of had a conversation over on Clubhouse. This was a couple weeks ago, and we started a conversation, and I was really thinking that it would be great to kind of bring it over here because Clubhouse, it doesn't get recorded, so no one can go back and listen to that great, valuable information. So one of the things we just want to have just kind of a candid conversation. I did write some couple questions or topics that I think are important to talk about. So I guess I'll start with this. I think that the word wealth is such a big word. So when people hear that word wealth, oftentimes they think of it as, oh, a millionaire or rich. So maybe I'm gonna say it doesn't apply to them. What do you guys think about it?
Okay, my apologies. I just completely lost you guys for about 30 seconds there. So
okay.
My apologies for having to ask you to repeat yourself, but I think I'm good now.
Okay, I think you look frozen. Does he look frozen?
Yeah, he's frozen.
Are you able to hear me?
I can hear
you, but your video is frozen.
There you go.
Am I back? Okay. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
there you go.
Okay, so what did I miss?
So I guess the first thing we just talking about as far as wealth, I was just kind of recapping our conversation we kind of started out with over on Clubhouse, and just wanted to bring it back over here so people can go back and watch and gain the information. So one of the things is the word wealth. We throw that word around a lot, and I think that it's such a big word, and so then maybe it goes over some people's heads because you think of wealth as a millionaire, multi-millionaire, and you might not kind of equate that as relating to yourself or applying to, or for some people applying it to themselves. What do you guys think about that? What does that word wealth really mean?
For me,
I'll let you go first, Wayne.
You let me go first. Okay, so for me, when I think about wealth, I think about something that can be passed down generationally. like you said, Andrea, you said a lot of people think about being a millionaire and things like that. Well, being a millionaire means nothing because obviously we see millionaires blow through money all the time. We've seen millionaires blow through someone and they're broke now. So it's wealth is a mindset for me. And it's all about what it is that you're doing to be able to keep things going after we're gone from here.
Okay. What about you, Mark?
So wealth is an accumulation of different things to me. So like health is wealth. I know you hear a lot of trainers and different people sell that product, but I believe in that. So it's kind of like a package. Like I definitely believe in a thing that you can pass down. So it also starts with like health, because if I don't have health, I don't have the ability to go make money or get out here and do my doing everything. So health, finances is a part of it, but it's really about what you can build. So not just the monetary value, but what you can build to accumulate to pass on generations to generations. So, it's not just about money, as Wayne said. I can pass on $10 million, but if I don't teach the generation behind me how to accumulate and grow that wealth, then eventually that $10 million will go to zero and then everybody's broke again. So it's a bigger picture than just financial. It's also planning, it's also building, it's also financial literacy and business education and all those type of things.
Okay. Yep. Definitely all of that.
100% agree.
I know that we always talk, obviously with the real estate brokerage, we're always talking about buy real estate, right? Then we're saying maybe on your end, do you guys offer life insurance, Wayne?
Actually, so no, we don't offer life insurance, and I want to be able to clarify for anybody out there that's listening. With Financial Investment Group, we are financial educators, but we're not financial advisors. So,
Okay.
So our niche is education, educating people in the area of just financial literacy when it comes to just managing your finances. Now, although we do some investing and we can teach people how to go about investing, we don't give people advice on where to invest their money. And we also don't have the licensing to be able to sell like life insurance and things like that. But we have people that we're partnered with that are able to be able to do that.
Okay. So just part of that wealth like package, right? We talk about real estate, we talk about savings, we talk about life insurance, we talk about stocks, right? So for some people, they're just trying to get by day to day. I can't worry about all of that. I'm just trying to get by day to day. What do we tell those people though? Like, I watch the news, or I'm sure we've all received a GoFundMe to pay for a funeral. And it kind of is disheartening, but what do we tell those people to understand the importance of all of this?
Did you want to go, Mark? Or...
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you
so
go
the
first.
biggest,
I'll follow you.
All right. The biggest thing is people aren't taught financial literacy, and we live outside our means. We run up credit cards to make purchases and different things like that, and then we end up struggling day to day. And I always teach people that credit is used for building purposes only. It's not for purchases. So you won't catch me buying Jay-Z, Beyonce tickets, a purse for my wife or crazy stuff on credit cards. If it's not something that can make me money or grow my business, I won't use that credit card or credit for anything. So, that's where we find ourselves, in holes. We don't have the financial literacy, and we don't, first of all, we don't make enough money. So that's where the financial literacy comes in too. We have to learn how to grow our finances, not just our job, but create different streams of income and grow that. And then we can grow wealth from there. But it starts with the education and with the resources that everybody has today. Like in our generation, we didn't have Google. We didn't have smartphones. So, it's sitting right there in front of you today. You don't have to wait on a person to come and give it to you. You hit Google. If you want to know, hey, how do I make apple cider? You hit Google and you made apple cider. So it's the same thing with business, the same thing with education, the same thing with, creating a little bit, more streams of income for yourself. So it's really just about first that education, but it's the discipline and the initiative that you have to take first to really, take that next step.
I cannot agree with you more. One thing that you said that was very key there, you said education. And everything that it is that we're doing to be able to create generational wealth right now, we had to learn it. And I feel like that what's damaging to our community is the fact that we don't have that education of what it is that we need to do to be prosperous in life. I didn't learn a lot until I was, later into my adult years, as far as just from a financial literacy perspective. And that's a big reason of why that has become my area of education, of wanting to be able to teach in the community, because I feel like that this is something that it is that we should have learned as kids. But the reason why we didn't learn it as kids, and I'm only speaking for the ones that didn't, we didn't learn it because our parents didn't know it. Their parents didn't know it, or sometimes they may have known it, but just didn't teach it to let it be a trickle down effect to be able to establish that wealth and allow it to continue to generate. So it kind of it goes back to the education, along with just the mindset. Like you said, health is wealth. There's so many different areas of life that I feel like that our community falls short just from a difference of a mindset. Like sometimes even when we try to teach, how many times have you guys tried to teach people certain things? Maybe just from real estate, it's shut down. People don't want to hear it, or they want to tell you about what they heard from somebody else that has. You guys have a whole brokerage. You're not just real estate agents. I don't think people understand how big what you guys have really is. You guys aren't just two real estate agents. You guys have one of the only brokerages, Black-owned brokerages in this area that I've seen. And you guys are successful with it. So for me, regardless of where I am, if I have questions, why would I not be humble enough to come and learn from you, educate me? And that's whether it's real estate, whether it's any of the other asset classes, stocks, commodities, cash equivalents, bonds, any of these things. These are the things, financial literacy. If you don't know how to manage your money, it's okay. We don't have to be ashamed to learn about these things in order to be better and be more prosperous in life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Stemming off one of the things that Wayne said, when he said education, he said our parents didn't have it and so on, so we weren't able to pass it down. That's absolutely true. So one of the things that disgusts me is I've heard a million people. I don't think I've ever met anybody in life that I didn't hear say the next statement, which was, if I knew then what I know now, I would be or I would do. So my thing that I always tell people when I hear them say that, it's never too late. If you know it now, then why aren't you applying it? That's number one. Number two, the flip side of that is that some people do feel it's over. I'm too old, or it's too late to start. And if that's what you feel for you, I'm not here to encourage you. But the flip side of that is, I tell people, if you know it now, then it's your job to pass it on to the next generation. And that's what you need to do. So if you know it now, maybe you are discouraged. Maybe you feel it's a little too late to start. It's a little too late to go back to college or do whatever your know now is. But it's your job to pass it on to the next generation, because now that you know, you got to teach them, because they didn't know just like we didn't know. So, they don't like we didn't know. So that's your job, is to teach the next generation.
If you know better, you got to show better.
Absolutely.
I 110% agree with you. And that's one thing. Like, even if you, like you said, if you feel like that you're too old to be able to do it, learn it for someone else. I feel like you are dead on when you say it's our obligation to be able to teach the younger generation, because if we don't, that just continues the cycle of poverty, along with a whole lot of other things.
Absolutely.
So do you think that it's always that people don't want to know or not willing, but more of they don't have the resources? So for example, if rent is so high and I don't make a whole lot of money on my job, then maybe I can't put money in savings, or paying for that life insurance policy will take away from a meal for my kids. You know what I'm saying? Do you think it's always just not knowing or not wanting to know, and anything to do with just lack of cash resources to buy into these things?
I think, go ahead, Wayne, go ahead.
No, okay. What I was gonna say is, I think it's a combination of everything that you said, in addition to a lot of times we're just not wanting to do what's necessary. We try to keep up with the Joneses. We have, I like to say, we got champagne taste, and they say beer money. I say ice water, and I say that because if you're not able to be able to save money, or you're not able to be able to put it in life insurance and things like that, then it's a mismanagement of funds, because you shouldn't be overexerting your funds in a certain area where you leave no room to be able to do something else. If you were already in that position, had those bills, and you were maintaining, hey, life happens. None of us are immune to the trials and tribulations of life, but certain things happen where you get put into a certain position. But if you know how to manage money, you're going to know how to be able to come up with a plan to be able to get yourself out of that position. Like, I'll give an example of myself. I went through a financial hardship some years back, And I humbled myself, and I was okay to be able to humble myself to say, hey, I'm going to have the place that's not going to cost me a lot of money to live. I'm going to have a car that's paid off. I'm going to limit the things that it is that I'm going to do. I'm not even going to date. You know, I feel like that if you're in a place where you can't afford things as a man, you shouldn't be dating until you get yourself in a certain situation. That's just me personally. But we have to stop being concerned about what other people are thinking about us, or be concerned about what other people look at what we have, and be concerned. These are our lives. We have to live them, not other people. So you have to do right by you for the future instead of just doing something to impress somebody else in the short term.
Absolutely. Like Wayne kind of touched some of the points that I wanted to touch. And one of the things that I really wanted to stem on was we don't take the sacrifice and dedication. People don't really understand sacrifice is short term and it'll pay off in the long run. So we overspend, we buy things that we don't need, we keep up with the Joneses. And it's a saying that you go broke trying to impress other broke people. And that's a big problem. But if you just make that sacrifice, it could be 1 year and you will really see your life turn around. Like I said, get a lower rent. You know, you getting a lower rent to maintain at that point for growth later. And I would rather be broke 1 year, 2 years, or however long and take that sacrifice than to look like I'm doing something, but I'm still broke for a lifetime. So it's we have to get out of that mindset and develop that mindset and realize that it's all about sacrifice. And if I put in the work right now, I will reap the reward later. And so it's not just about not wanting to, it's about not wanting to sacrifice and go through the trials and tribulations to get you to that next level.
So one of the things I think Wayne mentioned, you tapped on it just a little bit about education. There's 2 points I want to bring up. The first point is I recently watched a Instagram post, and the person was saying how they're not going to teach their kids to go to college. They didn't think that it was important at all. Rack up all this debt for what? Most people don't go to college. And from my standpoint, I think that's dangerous to say, because especially within the Black community, because we really do need that education. We absolutely need that education. So kind of steering those people that you can make it without the education, I think is a dangerous road. What are your thoughts on that part of it?
Well, my thing is, you know, I'm always preach education. The thing is that I tell people is education doesn't just mean college. I approve of college, but education just doesn't mean college. People always think college when you say education. I can educate myself in many type of ways without going to college. But I do believe in college. I say get further education, go to college. The flip side of that is I always tell people that you don't even have to graduate. If I want to open a business, the reason that most small businesses are unsuccessful is because we don't have any business education. So a lot of underprivileged people think I open a business, I'm rich. That's not how it works. You know, if you look at a lot of foreign people that come to this country and things like that, they open a business and their whole family works there from open to close. They don't try to hire employees and pay out money before they actually make money. That goes back to that sacrifice thing that I said. But if I'm going to open a business, I can go to your local Tri-C. I can take a semester. I can take some type of business class. I don't have to graduate with a bachelor's, but I need to get some form of education. I need to take some accounting classes. I need to take some business classes, business management. And I don't have to get a degree, but I have to get an education if I want to be successful. I can self-educate. I can read books. I can do all of that's education. But I personally believe in college. There are so many ways to obtain scholarships and free college that, again, you don't have to put yourself in the debt of getting student loans, but I need to go for a semester. I sacrifice and say, hey, no clubbing, no drinking, no Jordans, or none of that stuff. I'm going to take that money that I would have spent going out the bars, and I'll do a semester of college and take some form of business education. Now I have some type of knowledge, experience, and wisdom on how to open this business, how to sacrifice, how to properly do my accounting or pay myself a paycheck instead of saying all of this is mine. And then I end up getting in trouble with that. So education, you're going to anything in life, you're going to hear me go back to education first. Is the first thing I'm always say. So anybody who says college is you know, you should go to college and this, they're misguided. They obviously aren't educated. But the thing is, I just put this in my story the other day, and it said that relationships will take you further than college ever will. I absolutely agree with that 100%. But I wrote on that story myself, and I said, absolutely. but I also encourage you to go to college because it's more beneficial to be well versed, not just one route.
Mm.
So this topic here is one of those ones. Some people miss me on this, but Mark, I agree with everything that it is that you said. And one way that you worded it that's very important, you said education. And education does not always come from college necessarily. And I love this topic, and I actually just had a conversation about this about a week ago with one of my business partners, and we talked about all of the missed opportunities generationally, because in a lot of time, all the time, we're normally always taught, hey, go to college. The other option behind going to college has always been go to the military. But then now we can look back and say, look at all of the other options that it is that we had out there as far as being able to be educated in different fields and different industries that we were not taught about. Like, I wasn't taught about trade school. Like being able to go and be able to have a trade as far as being a real estate agent, being able to be a carpenter or electrician, plumber, any of these things where you can actually, and then being able to do what Mark said, being able to go and take a couple of classes to learn business, taking an accounting class to be able to just learn how to be able to take that trade and turn it into your own business and being able to be your own person. These are other options. And what the conversation was, we were talking about where would we be or what would we have done differently in those late teenage years or in our early 20s if we would have known about the other options that were available to us outside of military or just going straight to college. Because the reality of it is a lot of people shouldn't go to college. I'm not saying they shouldn't educate themselves, but no, if you're going to go to college and you're going to just blow the opportunity because you went just because someone told you should go, I don't think that you should go. But I feel like you have to do something. You have to do something to be able to educate yourself. You have to do something to be able to go and be successful in life. And that's where the education comes in. So as far as not going to college, no, I don't think that you should not go to college. But if college is not for you, you have to be able to, you need to be educated on all of your options.
Absolutely.
So the other piece, the second piece on there that I want to touch on, that I'm sure we've all heard this statement before, and I want to get your opinion on. And so when we talk about like wealth, financial fitness, and people always say, well, I never learned that in school. They never taught me that, assuming that that's meant for like K through 12, right? This is never taught to me in school. My question is, do you think that it is the school responsibility, those teachers, right? Because those same teachers that work there, they're not wealthy, they're not rich, they're just teaching, what they know to teach. Should it be the school's priority to teach this, or is it your parents' jobs to teach you this?
I think it's a combination of the parents. And no, I don't think the schools should teach financial literacy. I think the schools should hire me to come in and teach financial literacy. And the reason why I say that is because that's actually what my company does. We actually teach financial literacy to high school kids.
Okay.
And that's actually how we got started. And in addition to it, we actually, prior to COVID, we were volunteering to go down to the juvenile detention center, and we're teaching kids that had gotten in trouble and had community service. Our workshop was an alternative to them having to go out and like clean up trash and things like that. So it's like, hey, instead of you going to do something that's not going to help you with anything in life, come and take this workshop instead, and you can be able to learn how to manage your finances and things like that. So yes, I do. To be in all fairness, yes, I do believe that financial literacy should be in the curriculum of schools. And from my understanding, in certain states and certain schools, it is. But it's something that should definitely be learned at home. But the reality of it is that how is it learned at home if home doesn't know it?
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think the parents' job first. We all come from different backgrounds. We all have different levels of education. So it's sad to say most homes don't know this. That's why we say our parents didn't know who's teaching us. Well, the schools aren't set up like that. You got to remember, public school especially is set up by the government. And the government has a design to make everybody a worker bee. They don't want you to be a successful entrepreneur. They don't want you to be a CEO of 500 company. So they just want lower level tax payers, and that's all they want. So they have a niche and a pool of people at the top that they'll continue to grow those families, that wealth, and they'll keep everybody beneath them. So they don't change the school system for that reason. That's the reason they removed the trade schools, because they were putting people in trades that were making 6 figures a year and how to create their own wealth and their own generational path. So they took the trade schools out, because even though it was minimal, that's some form of education, but it turns your light bulb on and say, hey, I want to be a carpenter, like Wayne said. I want to be a plumber. I want to be a fabricator. And they removed that because they didn't want that light bulb even played with. They didn't give you the light switch, forget the light bulb. So they removed all of that. But I do think that it is to create a more productive society, I think, and share their wealth. I think that it is the school's responsibility to at least introduce you to different things. Example, all of our kids play sports. I don't care what sports you like, but you're going to try every one of them. When we try the sports, we'll go from there. But you won't ever tell me what you don't like. But that's my job as a parent, to introduce you to them, because how do you know what you don't like until you've never tried it? I eat sushi. I hear plenty of people say, Anna, have you tried it? Well, then how you tell me you don't like it? But when I introduce you to sushi, you say it's great. And a lot of people love it. So it's the school's job, to really introduce everybody to everything. There are a few things that I think we don't take advantage of. Like we take math. All high schools across the country, you got to have 3 years of math, 3 credits of math. But in certain schools, they do offer accounting classes. Certain schools, they do offer business math. But we end up following tradition and taking algebra, then algebra 2. Hey, I didn't need one after algebra 1. I was good with the 1. And I didn't need 2. I take 2 in college if that's what I'm going to do. I didn't need geometry. Certain fields, like I'm actually in a field that uses a little bit of geometry, but that's a class I could have took in college. That's further education. They should be teaching business math, accounting, how to do your taxes, and those type of things as far as math. Not like even the cash register. There are people who don't know how to use the cash register, don't know what the drawers are for. That's basic things that should be taught in school. And we've all been there. You go to McDonald's and you go to left field. No disrespect to McDonald's boys, but it could be anywhere. Let you get them some change after they already hit that button. They don't know what to do now. You done threw them for a loop. But that's because they didn't learn those basic necessities of education in school.
Yeah. And in addition to that, Mark, another thing I want to add on to it, think about how many athletes, especially Black athletes, that are coming straight out of high school going professionally. You're coming out of high school going professionally, making all of this money, and you don't even know how to manage it. So that makes it even more important. With this happening so much in these times, why wouldn't it be important for you to be able to learn things, learn more about business and learning more about finances in high school, considering that you're coming right out of high school making such an abundance of money?
Absolutely.
So Patrina is saying that they took it out of the school, home economics and those classes, and absolutely. So it's sad to see that they're going. I know in our district, they removed it from the school, but they attached a vocational school to there. So kids have an option to getting bused over to that vocational school during the day. So that is an option in some school districts. But my next question is, what if you want to be the cycle breaker, right? You're generation number 1. You weren't taught any of this. You want to be that cycle breaker, but you don't know any of this. How do they start? What do they do? If I have bad credit, we'll just call it for what it is. I have bad credit. I don't have any savings. I don't own a home. I have kids, and I make a okay wage. Where does that person start? Because that reality is real.
To me, it starts first with that mindset of wanting to be able to do better. That's the first place that it starts. And earlier you mentioned something about resources. One thing that it is that we all do a lot of is we're on social media constantly. And with being on the social media, like I try to avoid anything that does not line up with my course, with the course of my goals. And, I try to follow the things that's going to help me. I'm trying to follow the people that are going to inform me. And I listen to if it's something that I need to know, like Mark said earlier, Google is right there. And in addition to it, on the flip side of it, I think it takes for people like us to go and get our people. I think it takes for us to be able to go find those people. Like, I'm constantly on social media and all different type of platforms, letting people know, like, hey, if these are things that it is that you need, I'm available. whatever it is that you need. If I can't do it, trust and believe me, I will help you to find the person that can be able to help you and assist you to be able to do it. We have to get over ourselves, get over the fear of who's going to know that my finances are bad. Who's going to know that I don't know this? Oh my God, who is my business going to get to? If you're going to just continue to go on with a mindset of being concerned about what other people are going to, if you're going to put that before your well-being, I don't really know what to do to get people to break out of that mindset. But if we have to be available to help, but on the flip side, they have to be available to want our help and open to it.
Absolutely. Like I was going to kind of say the same thing. I was going to start with, you have to want to be different. So the information is out there. It's about asking questions. I'll tell you, I'm guilty. I think a lot of men are guilty of this. It's that old saying of back in the day before we had GPS, we'd drive and be lost. The woman say, well, pull over and ask. And we like, nah, I'm good. I know where I'm going. So men have a bad ego problem, and we don't like to ask. So I can see Wayne sitting there who might be a plumber. I know he's a plumber, but I don't want to ask because my ego don't want to make it look like I'm weaker than him, and I don't want to ask like I don't know. But if you don't ask, how are you going to know? Wayne ain't looking at me no different because I said, hey, Wayne, what's the difference between CPVC and copper? Okay, you don't know, but Wayne tell me, so we have to be able to ask. Now, I will say this, because our inbox gets flooded. Hey, Mark, teach me how to do real estate, right? I mean, that's such a broad spectrum. Don't think you can just come to me and I say, let's sit down for days and months. But, we do free seminars. We do like these videos all the time. If you're not watching these, I don't care how long. So far, we on here 31 minutes. If you tuned off already, you ain't ready for this conversation right here.
Ain't ready.
And I'm okay with that. Let's separate you from me now because I don't want to waste my time with people like you. I literally just deleted somebody before we came on here because of what Wayne said, that negative energy I don't want anywhere around me. That's not what I'm about. I don't want you consuming my mind. I don't want you, how you scroll down your timeline and somebody discussed you. You don't ruin my attitude and mood for the day or for at least an hour or something. And now you done thrown me off my course, which is where I was going, which was to grow. So, you have to first want it. Put yourself around like-minded people. And you always hear, if you want to be a millionaire, you got to hang around millionaires. I get it. You can't just go hang with millionaires, right? But you can hang with people that know millionaires. You can hang with people that are doing other things. Like we always heard along the thing, don't meet girls at the club, go to the library. It's a true statement. I ain't saying you can't meet a girl at the club, but, go to the library. Like, again, I'm going to use that well-versed thing that I said earlier. You need to be well-versed. You see somebody at the gym and they got arms that you like. Say, hey, man, I want to talk. How long is that? Do you take any supplements? Ask the question. It's no secret. Guess what? I look at you. You look at me. You see I got them arms. You already know, so I can ask you. How did you get those?
What? Is it a pride thing? Because, for example, when we started off, you brought it when we were in the clubhouse. Now, my wife is a real estate agent and an accountant. But on a public platform, I asked you guys. I think it was you, Andrea. I think I asked about a couple of questions about hard money lending. Now, these are things that I study. These are things that's a constant conversation in my household. But at the same time, why would I be too prideful to be able to go and ask someone that has experience in the industry how to be able to do something if I don't know or if I want help? It's okay to need help no matter what level you are in life. It's okay.
Absolutely. It's always somebody who's bigger than you, who's done more than you. Example, I don't have Warren Buffett's money. If you put me in a room with him, he ain't gonna be able to leave. I'll tell you that all the time. He's gonna be like security because I'm gonna ask everything I can. I'm gonna soak up everything I can. But most people want to get in the room and say, "Oh, Warren Buffett. Oh, I'm rich too." No. You're not, and you're not. But you don't have to play that game of I'm rich too. I don't have to ask questions. I gotta pretend. No. Warren Buffett. If you listening, I'm nowhere near on your level. You, Bill Gates, any of them. If you see it, call me. Give me one gem. Give me anything you can give me.
I'm gonna stay in my
open,
lane.
I'm receptive. I'm open, I'm receptive. But if you can give me something to help me, I'm taking it. But we have to be willing to admit we don't know. We want to know and just ask questions. I was guilty of it myself. As I got into renovations and was a young contractor, I'm not going to lie. I was learning on the job. I went and got education. I went to carpentry school and all of that. But I tell people, always say, man, how you do all of this? Absolutely. I know how to build a house from the ground up with my own two hands, and I can use a hammer and nail. I don't use hammer and nail, but I can use a hammer and nail. But that started with, first, a small education in carpentry school. Second, I had to get out here in the field and just do it. And I was trial and error, and I put all of that together. I tell people that, I didn't catapult to top and say the best contractor in the world. There were things in technology that changed. I'll give you an example. Anybody knows about plumbing? Plumbing changed along the way. It went from galvanized pipe to copper plumbing to CPVC to now the new thing is PEX plumbing, the red and blue plumbing pipes that you see. But guess what? If you take a 60-year-old plumber, he was working on galvanized and then copper. He has to reintroduce himself to the PEX. So is he going to be embarrassed to say, hey, I didn't learn that in school. I didn't learn that on the job. So do I ignore it? They make those new short things. Like, I'll be honest. I was in Home Depot a long time ago, or it was Lowe's actually. And the guy was talking to me like, oh, no, you can just connect this to that, blah, blah, blah. You ain't got to solder, the new fittings. I'm like, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I never seen a sharp bite in my life, right? So I'm guilty. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. He showed me where they at, and I'm like, the hell is this, right? So luckily,
blocking the blessing.
Yeah, exactly. So luckily, they had the little display thing where they had PEX going in there or whatever they had in there. So I saw it and said, hold on. So you know what I did? And I tell people this. They say, how did you learn all of this? Absolutely. I got an education in it. I learned most of it with these two hands right here. And I tell people all the time to this day, hands-on experience is my very best teacher. My second best teacher to this day is YouTube.
Wow. Now you just said something important. You said you're basically talking about your experience, and it made me think about even me with financial literacy and just financial education. I learned because I had to get myself out of the situations, and me getting myself out of the situations, it just had to it caused me to have to educate myself more and more. And then also, in addition, in order for me to be able to go and teach people financial literacy, I went and got certified, and because I need to be credible. What I look like trying to teach people about finances, and I don't know anything about finances. And that's one thing we do have to be careful that when we're giving people information, it's the correct information. It's not something that JoJo from down the street taught us because I seen JoJo come ride by in a Benz. So what he told me got to be true. Like, no, what happened is that there's a whole lot of other variables to the information that he gave you. You haven't walked the steps to all the way know exactly what happened for him to get to that point. We have to make sure that we're credible. We know what we're teaching, and then we have to be mindful of who we're teaching it to and how we're giving other people the education.
Absolutely.
It's so important. Well, one of the things that I want to make sure that you guys pick up from what was just being said was you have to leap. You have to think through that whole conversation. People just are afraid of making the wrong move, so you don't make any move at all. So no matter what it is, we can absorb all of this information, but at some point you have to take action. The other thing that I always tell people that I think that's important as well, once you learn all of this, Mark learns how to do this, right? Wayne talked about how he learned, now he's sharing it. We have to go back, take that information to the community. And you may think that it is something small and it doesn't matter. I always tell people, like, one of the things that I always learned how to do was cornrow or braid. I don't know how to braid, but I wish I could find someone to teach me how to braid. That's a skill. People think, well, braid a hair. Well, somebody like me, something that small is so important to take it back to the community. How to invest in real estate, that thing about life insurance, how to build your credit. You have to bring whatever, how to cook. A lot of people don't even know how to cook. Take that back and share that information. I do have a question for each of you. If you could go back and talk to your younger self, right? What would you tell yourself?
Mark, I'll let you go first on this
one. All right, I got you. So number one, I would tell myself, y'all, I told you, everything, I'm always come back at education. I would tell myself to never stop educating yourself. I don't care if you graduate from college and get a bachelor's or a master's or a doctorate. That's not the only level of education. Educate yourself in electrical and plumbing, HVAC, airplanes or technology, whatever. It's always education to be learned. I only have one life on this earth, and when I leave this earth, I want to absorb as much as I can I want to have as much knowledge. I want to be able to pass as much knowledge as I can. And that's what I would tell my young self, is to never stop educating yourself. I would teach myself about multiple streams of income, not to follow the crowd, but follow your future, and get yourself together, and never stop. Never be willing to stop growing. Always be willing to grow. I don't care what that is. If it's not your avenue, always be willing to grow and network with other people, and you'll find interests that you didn't know that exist.
I'm not going to be redundant. I'm going to say every single thing that Mark just said. What he said, and at the end, continue to build relationships and discipline. Mm-hmm. Be disciplined. Every single thing that Mark just said, be disciplined about it. Because I would say that's one of the hardest things that I feel like that we do go through just as human beings, is that it's hard to be disciplined. We're emotional. And, like we have those times where we don't want to do certain things, or sometimes it just may come from a place of immaturity. But if I had to tell my younger self, like everything Mark just mentioned, along with just a slap discipline on top of that, we're good to go.
I guess
one last thing, I'm sorry, I would definitely teach my young self, or tell my young self, purchase assets to pay for liabilities. And that's one of the caps that I would put on that.
Nice.
One of the things that I guess I would say is to just keep going. I feel, even though I do believe everything happens for a reason, the way that it plays out. When I look back, there's certain areas that I wish I would have just kept going, instead of stopping because it wasn't working in that moment, and then picking to realize, oh, I really want to do this later on. So if I would have kept at it when I first started, I feel like I would have been much further ahead. So just by a greater power, just by design, and it works out. But I definitely would say keep going along the way. So I want to do a quick little recap here, just for anyone that's listening to kind of understand, because we kind of threw so much information out there of kind of going back, right, of where that person should start today. So I want to improve my life. I want to also teach my kids how to do better. And so can we just touch on that again, on like kind of where should they start? Should they start looking at credit? Should they go get a second job to increase income? Like how do you navigate through all of this?
I think it all depends on, I think it's situational. And like, for example, with my clients, I can't treat any clients the same. Every client that it is that I have, they have to be transparent about what's going on in their life. And being transparent about what's going on in their life, they have to, they just have to have a person that can actually help them and be able to direct them through what their situation is. You may have somebody that's just like like way in debt. You may have somebody that's just like probably suffering from, previous relationships or households, upbringing. It's so many different things that could be the reason why someone is affected the way that they are financially or in any other aspect. And I think the first step is the transparency, and then just having an understanding of what that is, and then you make your moves from there.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree with all of that. Now, Wayne, is it something, can they call you for to kind of lead them down that path?
Absolutely. That's pretty much what I do. As far as helping people to be able to, I help people set up budgets. I help people to be able to cut costs in their life, to be able to make it where, if you have more money going out than you have coming in, we got to figure, it's about sacrificing.
Yeah.
It's about sacrificing to be able to get back into the place that it is that you need to get into. And for the things that it is that I'm like, for example, from a credit repair perspective. Now, I don't necessarily do credit repair myself, but I'm partnered with another company that does credit repair, Rural Financial Services, and they are great at what they do. You got a lot, again, it kind of comes back to, you have a lot of people that say they do things, and this is not a knock to the people that do like credit repair or even what I do. It's just, you have a lot of people that say that they do certain things, but they're not good at it. And the people that it is that I link myself with and that I'm connected to, I chose them personally because I've worked with them, I've had experience with them, and I know if I send you someone, it's not just me sending you to someone. I'm putting my name on that. I'm not going to just send you to someone because I know they do it. I'm going to send you to someone that I have experience with and I know that they're good at what they do. Because the last thing I need is for somebody to tarnish my name in a way of like, oh man, Wayne, you recommended this person messed me up. Now I got a problem with that company. Just like, hey, don't mess up my credibility. So before I recommend anyone, I will even educate someone to say, hey, all right, I'm sending you to this person. I know they do this, but I haven't worked with them. I don't know. I'm going to make sure that I communicate that if I have not worked with that person. But going back to what you originally said, yes, these are things that I do help with. So if there is anyone out there that does need any type of financial education of that sort, hey, you could, I'll plug my website at the end of this and give you my information and everything. And, of course, you can reach out to me and my team.
Perfect. And then if you guys don't know, we also have a HUD-approved housing agency. So if you, outside of Wayne, feel free to reach out to Wayne as well. But if you're thinking about buying a house, we have a HUD-approved housing agency. Our services are free. We do a lot of the similar things of credit repair services are free, budgeting, financial literacy around that. For a lot of home buyer workshops as well, and that's done through our housing agency. So we just gave you 2 resources, so there's no excuses for you guys to be able to get started and know where to start. And I think that it's important that what Wayne said is a great place to start. Really analyzing what you have going on, and just really facing the truth. Everybody wants to bury their head in the sand and not look at their credit, not look at, what reality is. You're overspending. So kind of out, understand, make the commitment that you want to do better, and then reach out. There's another area that we didn't talk about. Ask a friend, ask around for a good referral source. So is there anything that you guys want to kind of close out as we kind of wrap up here?
I want to touch on something that you just said.
I was going to stem off what you just said too. And the thing is, it's accountability. I mean, I think that's a big problem that a lot of us have, is accountability. If you look on your timeline, you see women who say, some, I know I'm a good woman. Well, guess what? If everybody a good woman, then who's the bad women? So we have to really take accountability and be willing to tell ourselves, hey, I'm fat. I'm fat. I need to lose weight. This is that, blah, blah, blah. Stop squeezing into this stuff that don't fit. Your friends ain't telling you. We got to take accountability. So that's I just use that as an example. I ain't talking about no fat people, but I use that as an example. But I'm just
Mark,
saying,
don't be shaming nobody, Mark.
That's why I say I just was using an analogy. It's about accountability, and we have to say, you know what? I'm broke and I want more. I'm broke and I want more. It's time to stop pretending. That's what's keeping me broke. Guess what? I don't need the Jordan ones. They come out every 6 months. I get them next month. I get them next year. The Jordan ones, if you keep getting them, you're going to be broke forever if you can't afford that. So accountability, and the first step is admittance, and just hold yourself accountable and say, I need help. I'm in a financial situation or a rut and I don't know how to get out. So I have to hold myself accountable and say, hey, let me call Wayne. I see something on his timeline every day that say, are you this or are you that? And I saw Wayne put that. So let me call him. So I have to hold myself accountable. Stop pretending. Let me call Wayne. Let me call Andrea. Let me call Mark. But the accountability is a big thing. And until people hold themselves accountable, they won't be ready to make any investments.
Hey, y'all both just said something that was so important. Like Mark, you kind of ended it off perfect. You said call Wayne, call Mark, call Andrea. We are 2 different companies, 2 different sources of 2 different resources. And here's the thing that I love: we are not in competition with each other. And that's something that I want to say to anybody out there that's listening. There's too much competing going on out here. There's enough out here for everybody. Like Absolutely. I love that I don't look at other business owners as my competition. I look at them as colleagues. Because what if I'm in a position where I'm not available? I may have to say, hey, Mark, listen, I'm swarmed over here, man. Can you help out this client, man? Or who do you have that can take care of this client? We are Absolutely. All in this together, and we're all trying to serve the same purpose. Like I said, my wife is a real estate agent. She's not in competition with you guys. Like we are all in this together, and we're all trying to serve the same purpose. So I say to everybody out there, if you find yourself competing with other people, stop. You are in competition with no one but yourself to be better.
Absolutely. And I saw a shirt a couple of years ago, and I've been seeing it circulating since. And it says collaboration over competition. And the thing is I'm an individual. I singular cannot own 300 businesses and make them successful. So if you look at Bill Gates, I use him as the example. Bill Gates owns Microsoft. At one point in time, he was the richest man in the world with $90 billion. But guess what? It's a reason that Bill Gates' right-hand man and VP and all of those people, they are billionaires too. Bill Gates don't say, I'll do it all by myself and you're going to be a worker. No. If I want to get to the next level, it's about collaboration. So, like Wayne said, we may all be in familiar businesses, but we may need to collaborate. You know, you brought up real estate agents. Well, guess what? We're licensed in the whole state of Ohio, right? Do you think I want to drive to Columbus to show people houses? Absolutely not. So I'm going to collaborate with agent there, and we'll collaborate, and then maybe they know people in Cleveland. They collaborate with me, and we'll both grow. But I'm not driving to Columbus or Dayton. Exactly. And it grows from there. And, you know, once you collaborate with people, you'll see. And like I said, I can't be 100 places at one time. So if I want to open a restaurant and I got 300 other businesses going, guess what? I see that Wayne is always posting cooking on his timeline. So I'm going to call him. That's not for real, but I'm saying, but I'm going to call Wayne. But I actually know somebody I got in mind for something like that. But I see Wayne is always posting cooking on his timeline. I'm going to at least talk to him. Hey, Wayne, how long you been cooking? This is blah, blah, blah. And before I even pitch that, I would ask Wayne, oh, man, it look good, man. I need a plate. I'm going to taste it and say, nah, I don't want a restaurant with him. But I would come to Wayne and I would say, hey, Wayne, what you do for a living? I work at Starbucks. Okay, well, I know that my proposal now creates a business partner is better than him working at Starbucks. And now I have a business partner that I have now, a successful restaurant, along with a brokerage, along with this, along with that. And now I'm looking for my next person to open bungee jump spot with. So the collaboration is always going to take you further than competition. And when they say it's enough money out here for everybody, trust me, it's enough money out here for everybody.
I do have one thing that popped up in my mind that I think it's important that we talk about real quick. But first, Lynette said we were speaking to her today. This was God's thing. I'll definitely be reaching out, and she's asking Wayne, what's your IG?
I'm sorry, I was going down to read the comments myself. My IG is, so I have two. My personal IG is my real legacy _FIG. So that's MYREALLEGACY _FIG. So that's my personal, but my business is FIG Invest. So that's FIGINVEST.
Perfect.
And hopefully, I'm sorry. I thought I was cold with that. I think I spelled those right.
Yeah. I'll go back and put it in.
Look, it was going through my head. Like did I? Okay, was that an E? All right. But yeah, my real legacy _FIG and FIG Invest.
Mm-hmm. So this just popped in my mind. I want to touch on this because this is a really important time of year, right? First quarter of every year, a lot of people are blessed with a really big check. A lot of people get really big checks due to income tax season. So I didn't want to leave out of here because these folks are getting $10,000, $5,000. So I want to address this to give them some ideas of what they can do with that money. So do you guys have any thoughts on, someone that might be getting $5,000 or $10,000 income tax return? And we're not buying any more TVs. No more TVs this year.
But they only $400.
Right. So you mean to tell me we can't flip that $5,000? We can't hit the hood and flip that?
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the thing is, and it's we go through this year after year. I get people flooding my inboxes, teach me, show me all of this, right? But like she said, most people get income tax between $5,000 and $10,000 every year. And although your $5,000 or $10,000 may not be enough to get you one, let's say, rental property or income property, guess what? You, your sister, your brother, your mother, or your friends, y'all can put it together. Now y'all have one property that's making your residual income. And you know, you have to start somewhere, but that's that collaboration. We have to get out of that my, and I want to be on top. Why I tell you this, if you crawl to the top of a mountain right now and don't nobody come with you, it's gonna be lonely up there. I don't want to be the only person up there. I want everybody to come with me. So it's about collaboration. We can do it together, and we need to put that money together and make it work. You know, this country was built together. It was built on the backs of us together. It wasn't one black man who built this country. It was a lot of us together, and we have to learn that togetherness, and that's how we overcame a whole lot, and we still overcoming today. The secret to us overcoming is sticking together. We're stronger together than we'll ever be apart.
My answer to that would be assess your situation properly. And the reason why I say that is because there's so many different, like, for example, if I know that I got bills like crazy, but on the flip side, I want to invest, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit back. I'm going to say, okay, let me pull my credit report. Let me go ahead and look at my overall finances. What do I need to take care of here? Or how can I leverage this to say, hey, you know what? I got all of this over here that needs to be taken care of. If I got enough money to be able to take care of that and be able to get myself in a better financial position, I'm going to do that. If I'm looking like, okay, this might be a little bit more than what I can handle right now, I'm going to need more capital. I'm going to, I would do something like sit down with myself, somebody like myself, and say, hey, tell me about what I should be able to do with this money. What is it looking like in compared to my finances? Then depending on that, I could make a phone call to somebody like Brickhouse Realty to say, hey, I have this client that's looking to be able to invest in some real estate. Do you guys have any projects that you guys could probably partner with where they could probably maybe get a percentage off of an investment that you got of a project you guys might be working on? And I'm just giving this as an example. And where they could probably be able to use that to be able to get a return on their money, opposed to taking the money and going and blowing it, where they can use it and then probably maybe continue a partnership to be able to get their money up and be able to pay off this debt and then start turning something, developing some assets. And then once you've done that, then go start having some fun again in life. But right now, like, come on, like why don't we want to enjoy being able? I want to be able to shop. I want to be able to travel. But you have to. There's an order of operations when it comes to this. You got to take care of certain things first. So everything that Mark said, I agree with, but thoroughly assess your situation before you spend a dime. And that would be my advice to anyone.
And definitely for the folks that maybe you don't get $5,000, you get $2,000 or $3,000. I think that what you should do is always think about how you can turn that $1,000 into it before you go out and just spend it and blow it on bills. Because once you pay bills, there's no more. Now you're trying to figure out where to get the next lump of cash from. At least it's a portion of the money on something that is going to help you make more. Starting a business in Ohio, it only costs about $99 to form that LLC on going to the state website, right? Or buying a course. There's so many courses out here that will teach you how to get started investing in real estate, how to invest in stocks, how to repair your credit. At least take a portion of that and teach yourself, so that way it puts you in a position to be able to either repair or make more money in the future. So that's about it, guys. I want to
can I add one more thing? You said the courses. Another thing, like I can't speak for you guys, but there's been times I've done free courses.
Yeah.
To be able to teach people about things. And I'll have hundreds of people sign up and probably half of them actually come into it. And it's like, if you have this for free, a lot of people say, oh, you know what? I don't feel like doing it. It was free anyway. But guess what? You missed out. You missed out. You probably thinking that it's no big deal because you didn't pay for it, but what you not realizing is that you paid for the knowledge that you just missed. You know, because it was given to you and you made a decision to say, I'm not going to go with it. When these free courses come up about things that you guys want to learn about, learn it. Sit down, get your pen and pad out, write down, take notes, follow up with the people that are teaching the information so you could be able to learn more. So that would be my advice in addition to that as far as the courses go.
Absolutely. We have done 1 million free seminars on how to invest in real estate. And we no longer do the free seminars. I don't know if my wife got something, but we no longer do free seminars on how to invest in real estate. Not because we're looking to get paid for them, because we got tired of people doing what you're saying, is registering for the event and not showing up. So we might have 50 people register and 15 people show up. So it we've done things from plan ahead, hors d'oeuvres or this or that. We're not charging you $1, but we spending money to accommodate the people and you're not even here. So
Right.
what we learned, the flip side of that was we got tired of seeing the same people at the free seminar. We taught you a whole lot. You didn't pull the trigger. You didn't move forward, and we keep seeing you. So what we said, and our schedule has gotten busier. So what we said is, you know what? We're going to give it at a minimal price, but if people pay money, they will be there more than likely. They will continue to come to get that knowledge, and we still accomplish the same goal, but it's never been about the money for us. We're sharing free wealth because that's what's going to help our people. But absolutely. Like, we do free stuff. We do this. This right here is free. We spent the hour of your time, my wife's time. I know I have stuff to go do for an hour.
Yeah,
but
we sit up here. It's funny because people complain about us charging for information, but when we give it for free, they don't show up.
Absolutely.
That makes no sense to me.
Absolutely. And it's people who clicked on this video and they gone. I don't know what minute or what time, but they left. So this 1 hour that we've been on here is too much. And you got a whole lot of insight, information, encouragement, uplifting, and everything. But a power ain't too long to watch for an hour. So it's all about what you want in life and what you want to do. So if this hour was too much for you, then hey, I won't see you on the other side. You stay over here, and we going over there.
Hey, I couldn't have said it better myself. I agree.
Well, I just want to say thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you, Wayne, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Jasmine says she greatly appreciates this hour of information and thanks us for that. So thank you for joining in. If you're not following us, make sure you're following us over on social media, over on Instagram. And Wayne, how can they call you?
You can call me. You know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you my website for anybody that's listening. I'm going to give all the information.
Okay.
My website is www.figinvest.org, not .com.org. When you go there, in addition to it, in both my bios on my personal Instagram page and my business page, the link tree in there will take you to all of the services that it is that we offer for Financial Investment Group. And let's see, and you can, our phone number is 866-FIG 5757. You call that number, either myself or one of my partners will be happy to be able to assist you. You can actually go and schedule a consultation in the link tree link that's inside of the bios. That's FIG, that's me.
Perfect. And Mark, I put your IG in the chat at the Meet Mogul. I put your website in the chat, Wayne, and then Mark, I put at Meet Mogul. Mark, that's going to be for IG.
You gave me one too many letters. They ain't gonna find me. Yeah, take that A out in the middle. You put an A in there.
Guess it helps when you spell right.
Yeah, Mark, MEETMOGULMARK over on IG.
And one more time for everybody, at FIG Invest or MyRealLegacy_FIG.
Perfect. And if you are not already following the Brick House page on Facebook or following us over on YouTube, please go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification button. Like to come to you with all kind of information, get you going. Always can find out about real estate. So I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you guys for watching in. If you have any questions, if you've got any questions for us, you can call that number that's scrolling along the bottom of the screen. And I guess we will see you guys next time.
Hey, Andrea, before you go, you or Mark, either one of you, either message me or whatever. I want to actually speak to one of you after this call. If you guys can probably
just stay on.
Okay, we'll do.